Jeff Scott Soto, how's it going with the career? You got a new album, Damage Control.
I got a kick-ass album coming out. I'm excited about this album. I'm excited about everything that came with the album and how it came about. And I really hope that people are going to dig into this thing because I'm so ultra proud of it.
Now, Jeff, who participated in this album? Let's just say.
It's more like who didn't.
Ah,
I got like 25 musicians on this album. It was probably one of my biggest undertaking in trying to get the amount of people that not only that I got to record it, but even on the writing process. I started with my solo band as far as getting material from, and then I started making like a little short list of people that I really wanted to work with, and some people that I thought would be great to get them some extra exposure, et cetera, et cetera. And so it was just the idea of doing what I was doing with the amount of musicians and the different. I did it basically in 3 continents. It was recorded in North America, South America, and Europe, all simultaneously. Everybody thought I was crazy and I'd never be able to pull it off, but I pulled it off and then some. And man, it just came out better than I expected.
now producing an album like that, you mean all at the same time playing online?
Pretty much. Well, not simultaneously. I'm just saying as far as keeping everybody in check. Like, okay, guys, I want you to do this to this song, and this person's going to play drums on that song later. Why don't you do the overdubs to this first, and then I'll send the track to that drummer. And it was just basically a lot of swapping and sending around different tracks all over the place.
It makes a good way of recording, in 2012 versus back in the 1980s.
Well, yeah, the technology today allows us to open up our possibilities of being able to do stuff like this, and even just the fact that I get a chance to actually play with a lot of different musicians without having to spend all those hours flying to get to them, and it's just an amazing experience the way we were able to bring all of this across.
Now, who produced this album? The sound quality is very good. So
yeah,
you produced it,
and my engineer, who's done all my mixing for all my albums, he's in Boston. His name is John Ellis. He did the actual mixing and mastering of the album.
Now you must be very impressed with the quality of this album because it's got some good tones to it.
Yeah, I'm actually quite happy overall. I mean, it's one of the things that as musicians and even as on the technical side, we kind of beat ourselves up a bit. We're never really truly satisfied, and every musician or every artist that's especially producing their own albums will always tell you they always feel like they wish they could have had at least another month or another week or another whatever just to get it the way they hope to get it. But in the end, you gotta make your compromises, and you gotta know when to move on to the next thing. And I'm just glad that for the most part, it came out the way I wanted it to come out, and I'm very pleased with that.
You got gigs lined up in the future? Like, where are you going to be playing?
Definitely going to start the tour in South America later this year, and then taking it to Europe. But this time around, especially because I have such a strong presence with the record company in the U.S. now, finally, I'm hoping that it gets enough notoriety and exposure, and even that it gets enough notice that people would actually want to come see me do like a tour or some shows out there. I want to make this album more global than a lot of the ones in the past, where I've mainly only focused on certain territories where I knew I could actually tour and get away with touring. This time around, I want to actually go back to my own home country and do a proper tour. It's been too long since I've actually done an actual tour in the U.S. with my own solo stuff.
Now, Jeff, social media, do you participate in that at all, like the marvelous YouTubes and Facebook and stuff like that?
I do a little bit of it. I'm not crazy. I'm not so deep into it because I do feel I'm old school. I come from the day where we didn't have that stuff growing up. We didn't have Facebook and MySpace and Twitter and all that stuff. And so there was always a mystique about the artists that we listened to back in those days. When you wanted to know something about them, you had to read about them in a proper magazine. You had to wait until you actually got the album and read the liner notes, who was on the album or who was. Everything is so given away now because of the social media. There's no secrets anymore. Everything is known. Everything is given away too quickly. And so, as much as I like that there's such an instant gratification and interaction with the audience, I also feel like there should be some kind of mystique left. There should be something mysterious and something left that makes people wonder about the situation or about the artist or about the tour. You know, you can't even do a show anymore or a tour anymore without every song being on YouTube, you know, within minutes after the first song has been played, just because everybody wants to know and they want their instant gratification. And I really do miss those days where you had to wait 2 months to see the actual band, and all you had was a written review about it that made you anticipate that show coming to your town.
Makes sense, you know, because then you wait to see the review, then you go see the show.
Yeah,
to see
exactly.
if the review matches.
You know, but then again, I'm not going to knock it because there's a lot of advantages to having the instant gratification of technology and YouTube and Facebook and stuff like that. There's a lot of great advantages. So, you know, you're gonna have your pros and cons of that kind of stuff. And for the most part, it is what it is. It's where we're at today, and try to make the best of, you know, what you can with it.
Do you happen to view on YouTube some of your classic footage with Yngwie Malmsteen sometimes, and what do you think of that era?
I have seen some of it. I actually own a lot of it, and you know, it's another time for me. That era for me was there was a lot of learning and growing up and maturing and all of that. So much that I didn't really enjoy it as much as I enjoy watching it back now, because I was such a kid, you know. I was so green. I didn't know anything about anything, and when you're actually doing it, you don't realize that you're actually creating history there. But it's only when you actually can look back and reflect on it that you realize that was such an important time, in not only in your own personal life, but in so many other people's lives. So yeah, it's kind of cool that that's available, even just to be able to backlog and to look at basically where you came from.
Because when you look at, like, I'll See the Light Tonight and all those songs, I think it's live in Japan or something like that, there's like millions of hits on that.
Right. And it's a great feeling to know that, you know, it's something that it also is helpful in what you're doing currently, because obviously without all that exposure and with all that interest of what you did in the past, you probably wouldn't have that much interest in the future. So I think it's a great vehicle to have, and it's important to have. It's important to show people where you came from.
Damage Control comes out March 27th, let's say worldwide.
Yep.
And with this, are we going to see like a promo video coming out as well in the near future, or how are we doing that?
The promo video is out already.
Okay.
The first single is a song called Look Inside Your Heart, and it premiered on the AOL channel, the Noise Creep AOL music channel. And now it actually is, it's on YouTube and a lot of other outlets. It's been tapped through. But yeah, I did a few videos for this album that are on the bonus version of the album, the deluxe edition of the album. And it's, you know, then I'm not breaking any new ground with these videos. They're basically just eye candy for the music that I've already recorded. And it's, you know, it's an extra side of promotion that I can actually throw out there so people can actually listen to and watch the music.
Well, excellent stuff, Jeff. I appreciate you taking the time. It's an awesome product, I'll tell you that. The sound quality is very, very good.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate that. It means a lot to hear that, especially from somebody who's listening for that kind of stuff. You know, it's important to me to be able to get that kind of review. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, you have a good review on this side, and keep up the great work.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, Jeff. Stay in touch.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.